Perfect. Perfect. Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining us this evening. It's a very, very exciting call. We have a very, very good friend of ours, but also a very credible associate of Max International. His name is Dr. John Kindle. Dr. John is a medical practitioner, and I want to read his bio because I thought it was, I love the humor on the bio that he sent me. And this is years and years ago. And just bear with me as I'm reading here, folks. So I hope, Dr. John, you don't mind. It's you said.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. You know, Dr. John Kindle is one of those rare.
That was stimulating.
Okay, one of those rare individuals is calling as a very young age. He was 12 years of age, and in grade 7 when he knew that he wanted to be a medical doctor. He says he always remembered the uproar that occurred when he was entering high school from grade 8 and had decided to take a course in typing rather than Latin. The guidance counselor at his school was extremely upset, telling him that he could never be a medical doctor without a background in Latin. Well, today he can use a computer, can't speak Latin, but continue to see patients on a daily basis in his clinic in Ottawa, and none of his patients knows that he doesn't know Latin. So I thought it was actually some wonderful humor to share. Dr. Kindle attended pre-medicine and medical schools in Kingston, Ontario, and graduated in 1972 with his medical degree. Then he went to specialize in family medicine at the University of Western Ontario, where he graduated with his CCFP. Sorry, I don't have the definition, but that's in 1974. So he practiced family medicine in Ottawa for 34 years and had a brief stay in Tennessee in 1998 when he was assessing the United States medical system with thought of immigrating from Canada to practice in a warmer climate. Dr. Kindle has a specialized interest in preventive medicine, has seen too many patients over the years develop severe medical problems leading to disabilities and death, and yet they seem to do everything right from their own health. So, and this is one of the reasons, folks, I find very, very exciting to have Dr. John Kindle with us is his passion to be in preventive medicine opposed to, what we're used to within the medical realm. And again, no disrespect meant to the medical realm and the pharmaceutical realm, because I believe they have a space and we do need them. But I think today things are changing, we're evolving. And Dr. John, I really want to thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to have you with us.
My pleasure. You know, that bio brings back a lot of memories. I can't believe that it's actually next month we'll be finishing my 46th year of practice.
Wow.
So I'm easily going to make half a century as a family doctor in Canada. So you're right, Chris. I'm into preventive medicine, and for those who might be new on the call that don't know my story, when I really thought that I was invincible, never got sick, never missed work. I have 5 years of high school, never missed a day. I think I missed one day at university. And in 2003, I was playing squash on a Thursday. By Sunday night, I was in the hospital with a bowel obstruction, and they found I had cancer of my kidney. And what an assault on myself that I was that sick and had no idea that I had a 6-centimeter cancer. So when I heard that there were other ways to stay healthy, and Chris was the one that told me about Max International, I said, yeah, Chris, sure, but I'll have a look and see what this is all about. And here I am, I'm into my 13th year of an accelerated glutathione level. And I know that it works because I was quite instrumental in getting Dynacare to start doing glutathione levels in Canada. And I think I was the first person in Ottawa to have it done. And things outside the normal range, when you measure them, turn up in red on the lab work. And sure enough, red, because I was way out of the normal range, way above. And I said, boy, this stuff really works. And I'd been telling people this for about 6 or 7 years before I could actually measure it myself. And I did quite a bit of study on, probably about 50 people who were willing to invest $75 in their own glutathione level. And everything we've been telling people for the first 7 years about the sicker people have lower glutathione levels and the really healthy people have very high levels came true when I started to see the effects of the science in my own practice in measuring this. And, you know, tonight, it's kind of open to talk about many things, but we're, you know, talking about the significance of glutathione. I thought I would tell some people that may not be aware of this. One of the glutathione, although we've known about it for 100 years, it's only been in the past 5 to 10 years that mainstream science has begun to look at this. And I was sent this article from an infectious diseases journal just last week. And the date on it was actually May 28th, I believe, was the original date this was published. And I just want to go over briefly to let you know what this is all about. This is about the fact that this is a researcher in Russia. I went and looked up his bio today, and he's an MD, PhD at the Kursk State Medical University in Russia. And he reminds me a lot of Dr. Keller in that he's really well read. I saw that he had some papers published on the effects of glutathione. And he thought the same thing that I've been thinking, but I'm not a scientist. When we started to hear about COVID being more devastating to the seniors and the children were almost immune to this, I certainly asked myself, why? Why was this happening? And my answer came quite suddenly to me without any hesitation. I said, well, the seniors don't have good glutathione levels, so they're more susceptible to diseases. We've been saying this at our meetings now for a number of years, and, you know, we're not going to talk about treating any disease. You know, our products, we're very careful to say they don't diagnose or treat any medical problems, but other people are going to be saying it. And this is what this researcher says in his article, that when we have a high glutathione level, we're able to fight off viruses an awful lot better. And that particular article, if you start to read that and go through it thoroughly, there's stuff in there that I've never heard of or never seen. A study from Italy, I believe it was, in 2000, and it's on the next page, Chris. There's a study out of Italy where they used NAC, N-acetylcysteine, long-term in patients to see if it would help them with protection from viruses. And sure enough, they found that that was a good method of prevention of viral illnesses. And how did this all come about? Well, we have NAC, NAC in our Max GXL product. And so the world knows about N-acetylcysteine because it's been used in some intensive care units for people with acetaminophen overdoses. That's just Tylenol. When you overdose on Tylenol, it can kill you. And they use that. And even the people that use it intravenously to help save the life of somebody who's toxic from acetaminophen overdose, I don't think they understand how the N-acetylcysteine is working. It's working to improve and elevate the glutathione level, which is what's saving the people. Now, what these researchers don't know and what the world doesn't know, but every Max distributor knows, is that we have a product that was our second product that came in line. This is the ribosine that is in many of our products now, and this is the research of Dr. Nagasawa. And Dr. Nagasawa, his study showed that the level of glutathione is increased by about 300%, especially in the liver. So our products are far superior to what is talked about in this particular paper, though it's just a general paper about the use of glutathione in protecting seniors and protecting us as we get older. So this is the essence of our business, is having a science-based product that really everyone in the world should be on. And I say I'm into my 13th year of this, and I did my Mac story a couple of years back, and I'm proud to say that my Mac story is the same today when I said that I lost the 40 pounds that I had gained since high school. The 40 pounds I had gained in high school and carried for most of my life. When I got onto the Max products, I was able to get all that off, and it allows me to have the energy on a daily basis so that I don't know if you can see behind me. That's the Stairmaster you always hear me talking about that allows me to watch TV while I exercise, and that's 7 days a week. It's a remarkable machine. They don't make them anymore. I've had 2 service calls on it, and still works beautifully. I work up a real good sweat, 30 minutes, and my treat this year, I learned how to use these new earbuds to go in my ear so I can listen to music while I'm exercising, and everything goes a bit better because I found that CNN is just getting too boring watching the false things that are going on there. So we better not get into that about some of the other treatments for the COVID that we've seen on television.
Now, Dr. John,
Chris,
if I may just
go ahead.
Interrupting. One of the things is I want to ask everybody if you have any questions while Dr. John is sharing. There's some really, really important information that will be passed on here as we move along. And what I was sharing earlier is an article that Dr. John will be talking about this evening during the call. But if you have any questions during the conversation, once he is done sharing, we will address them. So please go ahead, Dr. John. Yeah,
this particular article, Chris, is by this researcher in Russia, and he has studied glutathione before, and he, like myself, is asking the question, why do seniors have more illness and die from COVID compared to the younger population? And it's an article based primarily on his thoughts and the research that he has done. And he's a great reader. He reads all scientific articles, and he came to the conclusion that glutathione is essential in preventing the deaths of these people as we all get exposed over time to the COVID virus. And everything we've been saying at our meetings over the past year, and I love the way Paul Tessman says, we lower the inflammation and we clean out the toxins from the liver. And that's exactly what they're talking about in this, the lowering of the inflammation, because it's the inflammation that really is the damaging culprit here with the COVID virus. And it's not just a lung disease. People die from lung quickly, but those who survive are being found to have ongoing problems with their brain. There's neurological problems that occur in the survivors. There's problems with the endothelial lining. That's the lining of the arteries. And we're finding that there's been some research by some of the Max scientists looking at the role of glutathione in protecting the lining of the blood vessels. But this is a multifactorial disease when you get COVID. It affects many organ systems, and all of these organ systems are affected by oxidative stress. If we can lower the oxidative stress, then we can save the cells. And this is what our glutathione product does, far superior to anything else available in the world. The only problem is not enough people know about it.
I apologize again for interrupting.
No problem.
You share the document now?
Sure, you can put it up just so they can see the title and know what it is. Okay. We're not going to go through it word by word, paragraph by paragraph, just to know that this is here. I sent it to Chris, and I guess it'll be online for anyone to look at. But it's one, we talk about, when I was introduced to Max International, I was told that there were 77,000 articles in the medical literature. I think it's around 140 to 150,000 now. This is just one of them. This is probably one of the most recent. And I know that Max International has been working on some scientific symposium that will be coming soon. We'll have one for distributors, and they were in the process of preparing one for medical professionals to see, and they've had to keep putting it off because the research is coming out so quickly that they want to have the most up-to-date information. And there's stuff that's come out, as I say, this is May 28th, 2020 that this came out. So things that I don't think we need to go into the causes of death with people with the COVID.
One of the things I find interesting is that you've kind of highlighted certain areas in the document. That's the reason why I'm showing the one in black and white you text me, and the one that's actually on the left that people can actually read because the text is not always clear. And do you want to touch on those areas as to why did you circle these areas?
Sure.
Chris, can you increase that?
Sorry?
Chris, can you increase that so people can see it?
You're talking about the one that's the facts?
The one that he highlighted. There we go.
So here's an equal. So just so you know, folks, this is the exact same document. This one is simply highlighted, and it's a facts. And because of the clarity of the characters, I figured it might be easier for you to read, so you can just shift your eyes on the left. And the question again is to focus on the areas that Dr. John highlighted. So please go ahead, Dr. John.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been saying at our meetings over the past many years, and we try and cram that into 5 minutes of the science part of our discussions. But this just reinforces that other scientists around the world, besides the people that are with Max International, are feeling and knowing the same information, though they don't know about our product. One paragraph there: higher rates of serious illness and death from COVID-19 infections among older people, and those who have comorbidity suggests that age and disease-related biological processes make such individuals more sensitive to environmental stress factors, including infectious agents. And below that, oxidative stress appear to be important biological processes. What we've been talking all along. When you breathe oxygen, you create these things called free radicals. We need antioxidants to decrease the inflammation in our body. And we know, I'm a doctor that looks for inflammation, and I measure some of the inflammatory markers, particularly the HSCRP, highly sensitive C-reactive protein. And when I see that coming back, they say above 3 is significant. When I see people with levels of 4, 5, 8, 10, and they appear or think they are healthy, I know that they're in higher risk. Unfortunately, it requires more than just a supplement. It requires a lifestyle change of better diet and more exercise is part of the equation to staying healthy. That article talks about the inflammation that occurs with oxidative stress. Towards the bottom part of that first paragraph, they talk about that. In the second part of that, they talk about glutathione playing a crucial role in antioxidant defense against oxidative damage to cells. Exactly what we've been saying at our meetings. The importance of this is really so vitally important. And this is a really quite a very credible university in Russia, which is a research institute. And then the diagram on the next page talks about some of the cofactors we look at that make COVID so devastating. Being over age 65 is one. Then the low glutathione intake. Now, there is glutathione in some foods, and fresh vegetables and fruits are important. When I watch, it's my hobby these days when I'm going out of the grocery store to look in people's baskets and see what's there. And you see the cases of Coke and Pepsi and Joe Louis and Twinkies and sweet stuff with lots of sugar, and the person's carrying around 75 pounds more than he should. They come to me at 60 and say, "Why does my back hurt, doc? I want you to fix this. Why are my knees giving out? I need new joints, but you must be able to do something. Well, the answer, sorry, is that they've let themselves go, and it's very hard to fix that. And again, I remember when I was first introduced to glutathione many years ago, the doctor that introduced me to this was someone who'd been on it before I'd even heard the word. And this was a 68-year-old physician who was, I'd say, an alternate practitioner who looked outside the box of medicine. And these people all have influence on me to look outside the box of traditional medicine. It goes on to say in this article that lower levels of L-cysteine is the rate-limiting precursor for the production of glutathione. Hey, have we been saying this from day one, that you have to get cysteine into the cells in order for it to work? And how do you get cysteine into the cells? Well, the world knows quite a bit about the role of N-acetylcysteine. The world doesn't know about the role of ribosine. And that's your job, my job, to bring this to the forefront. And as researchers begin to understand how important glutathione is, when they open their eyes and listen to our research from Max International, that we have products that are far better than what the world already knows about, that's when this will really hit home and be understood more thoroughly by medical people all around the world. On the last page there, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and anticoagulant properties of glutathione.
Sorry, Dr. John, for interrupting. I just want to make sure I'm in queue with you. When you say the last page, you're talking...
the one that, yeah, right here. That one here, Chris. You got it. No, go down a bit. Below that, go up.
Up a bit? This
yeah. Further up. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Antiviral, anti-inflammatory, anticoagulant properties of glutathione. That part of the article goes on to talk about glutathione being able to protect the immune cells. Now, you hear this again at our meetings. We say that we just have one sentence about it. We say that it enhances our immune system. Well, this article talks all about that, the importance of glutathione to get our immune system working at its optimum level so that it can attack whatever is attacking us. And that attack can be from air, water, foods. These are the toxins that we need to clear, but sometimes they're live biologicals such as viruses and bacteria, and we have to be able to attack them as well. And this article again talks about how our immune system is so important. The deaths that occur from the COVID virus is a severe immune response in the lungs, and you fill up with fluid and you can't breathe. And they've been using some immune suppressants. And this is the big debate we get into when people who don't know anything about our products say, well, my doctor says my immune system's overactive, so I need to suppress it with prednisone and other very toxic, strong medication. This isn't true. What we need to do is enhance the body's natural ability to heal itself. And that's what glutathione is all about. It's so basic to the life of every single cell that we have to increase that level, because we do burn it up when we exercise, if we don't eat properly, if we don't get proper sleep, if there's stresses on the body, if there's too much sunshine and the radiation depletes us. The more glutathione we have, basically the healthier we are, and that translates to a better quality of life as we age. And this is so vitally important. I have so many patients over 75 years of age, and I really enjoy working with those who are enjoying life at 75 and 80 and 85. But for every one of those, I've got 10 whose quality of life is not very good, And I did glutathione levels on some of these years ago, and I know that they're deficient. And they're deficient because they don't eat well, but they don't have supplements, they don't understand. Most people have never heard of it. And that's why, again, our job is to bring this to the forefront. Mm-hmm. So the very last page is just a summary, the hypothesis. And this is, again, the thoughts of a very learned researcher, PhD, MD, who treats patients, but is also a researcher. It reminds me somewhat of Dr. Keller, who is an MD, PhD, and he's just stating over and over again that we really need to look at ways to enhance our glutathione level in order to protect us from illnesses and especially from the viruses. And he brings up that one study from Italy, I believe it is. They mentioned the researcher's name, and there's a quite extensive bibliography in this. And the number 17 in the bibliography is a study out of probably Italy, Dr. De Flora and S. Grassi, attenuation of influenza-like symptomatology and improvement of cell-mediated immunity with long-term N-acetylcysteine treatment. So basically, some researcher did at least a 6-month study on individuals who are seniors and gave them N-acetylcysteine to enhance their glutathione level, and found that they had less influenza, and if they did get it, it was much more reduced. So this is the beginning of more and more scientific proof that what we are doing is so important. And again, I'm just so thankful I've got these products, because my quality of life at 72 years of age is at a level that I'm seeing in my clinic, where the doctors that are 15, 20 years younger than me still wonder what the hell I'm doing coming in so early sometimes and being able to function as well as I'm doing. And I don't think I've aged in my past 10 years, other than my hair is a bit whiter, but other than that, it's pretty much the same person as I always was. And I just want to have another good 10, 20 years of excellent life, where I can exercise every day and I can have a good mind and good body and continue to help people. And at the same time, we have a business opportunity here. And for those of you listening who understand that this is a business, understand how vitally important all this information is to get to the people. And I think we're still got a ways to go with the medical profession, but certainly the lay population is beginning to understand how important this is and understand that there's a business opportunity. And no one better than Chris Gingras and Tammy Sellers knows what the business is all about.
Always appreciate your compliments and trust in us, Dr. John. And again, thank you. And there's 2 questions here, and maybe there will be more that will pop in as we go forward. But before I start, ladies and gentlemen, please be responsible with this. This is not a product that is intended to cure anything at all. It is designed to work with your body, increase your immune system, and reduce inflammation. And these are things that are clear, you can state. But again, be responsible with this, because we need to protect the interest of our company for the greater good of everybody around the world. And so Dr. John, I just would like to start with Bernadette. She had a question here in reference to what Max products are currently, you are currently on, and how much of each of products do you use daily, that you take daily yourself?
Okay, first thing in the morning, I mix up my ATP, and I take that cold drink of water. I then take 2 to 3 capsules of the MetaSwitch. My wife says, I don't need that anymore. Your weight's down to where it should be. I say, I don't care. It got me where I am today, and I was overweight for a good part of my life. I want to continue to stay well. So I take the MetaSwitch. I do my exercise. after my exercise, I take the Cellgevity. I take 2 or 3 capsules at a time. Very rarely do I take more than that. If I thought I was coming down with a bit of a flu or something, I would take more, but it's so rare that I come down with any kind of a flu. And then I take my Max 357 at the same time, that's morning. In the evening, I take again at least 2 or 3 Cellgevity and another 2 Max 357. And during the day sometimes, I must send my breakfast menu, because I have a massive breakfast with steel cut oats. So I don't often have a big lunch, but lunch to me can be a large glass of Infuse. And believe it or not, they said that the Curb bars, we couldn't keep them because they expired. Well, I still have some old Curb bars, and they're still very good. And I know we've stopped promoting the bars with the MetaSwitch, but I think that's an integral part. If you don't get bars from Max, you should look for a high fiber bar among the rows and rows of bars that are now in the grocery stores, and get a high fiber bar and have 1 or 2 of those in the afternoon with your Max Infuse. So I guess you'd say I'm taking pretty well all of the products. I don't take Max GXL. It was a great product, but the science is far superior with the ribosine and Dr. Nagasawa's work. So I don't take that, but sometimes I promote it if I see certain conditions that I think might do a little bit better with the Max GXL. And my day is not complete. I get on that Stairmaster every morning. I do my stretches and get on it, and I'd say about half a dozen times in the past 6 months, where I'm in the middle of my exercise and I say, I just don't feel very energetic today. And then I say, forgot my ATP. How could I forget my ATP? But it's part of my routine, and I've missed it about
Okay, I'll give you the vitamin.
Okay, one moment.
Come on, let's brush your teeth first. Let's brush your teeth.
I'm not able to locate.
Sandra, Chris. Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
because it says she's muted, so that's why I don't understand.
No, it was unmuted for a bit.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, it's all good, Sandra. We understand. It's life, right?
Oh, I thought it was my place.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Thank you. So in carrying on here, folks, Luz from Puerto Rico, thank you very much for joining us, Luz. Very appreciate it. Again, I'm going to pose the question, Dr. John, and you choose how to answer that. For people who have COVID-19, what product do you recommend and what dosage? Now, again, choose to answer that as you see appropriate.
I think they need. I mean, they've got 1 to 3 weeks of severe illness, and they either die or they get better. And it's pretty hard to get a product into them if they're in hospital. If they're in the house or in a retirement home, I would certainly give them the Cellgevity. And how much would you give them? As much as they could afford to take. There's no toxic level for this product. We want to enhance their glutathione level as best we can to allow the body to fight the effects of the virus. So that would be my initial use of this. I've had one patient, and these aren't people that I've seen. I read the articles or the reports from the emergency department, and I phone them after they get home. And one of my patients, surprisingly, a 79-year-old gentleman who lost his sense of smell first, and that's one of the signs with some people, and then he became somewhat toxic and delirious, and he went to the hospital delirious with a cough, and he was found to be positive for COVID. But he was out in 6 days, and I wouldn't call him a healthy person, so he survived, which is great, but there's so many that didn't survive, so we're doing the social distancing and making sure we protect ourselves as best we can from being exposed to the virus. And I'm not really particularly worried myself. I do protect myself, but if I get COVID, I don't think there'll be a problem. I'm sure that my body will fight this quite well.
Thank you, Dr. John, for sharing. And thank you for sharing that. Again, folks, respecting the social distancing, especially today, until we understand a little bit better what's going on and how to handle this. Another question from Emmanuel from Nigeria is, hi, Dr. John. For growth like CYST and UTERINE, uterine, fibroids, and glutathione, can glutathione help?
We don't have any studies on those, and we've learned not to talk about things that we don't have a study on. So I think you're talking about fibroids, leiomyomata. We don't have any study about what it would do to that. So the people that have those, it's already been established, and I think we're talking about the same thing, unless Chris spelled it too fast for me. We don't know that it does anything for that condition.
Yeah. So growth like, I don't know how to pronounce it, CYST,
Chris, growth.
CYST.
And uterine, UTERINE. Uterine.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Like cysts on the uterus.
Yeah, well, so uterine fibroids. Yeah, what I was just said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And keeping in mind, folks, that, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I've been around Tammy and I've been around this business for a long time. We've been around doctors for a long time. And at the end of the day, when you reduce inflammation, the body just seems to handle itself really, really nicely. Would you agree, Dr. John?
Oh, absolutely. Everything we've learned about diseases over the past 20 years is the role of inflammation in allowing the disease to take over the body. And if we can lower the inflammation, we help save the cells, and the cells are the essence of health of the body.
Okay. Now,
personal testimony, Chris. Well, you know, I used to have fibroid issues, and you know, when I started with Max, I never really had those problems anymore. I know that there was one, and then it shrunk, and the last time I went to do a checkup, it was gone. I know that I'm, you know, in menopause right now, so that's probably part of it. But I mean, this is years ago that I had the issues, and yeah. So again, elevate glutathione, and your body knows what to do. And I think, and again, anecdotal story for me.
The body knows what to do. Exactly.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Now, Bill has, Suchak has actually a question in reference to heart disease. Now, Bill, you put a tough one with me here. French guy trying to pronounce these big words. If the product can help with atherosclerosis, heart disease.
Atherosclerosis.
Yeah.
There's actually been some studies which we learned about at one of the last meetings, and the researcher in New Zealand, I think it is doing work in this area, and it seemed to have a preventative effect in helping to keep the arteries from building up plaque. And plaque is what causes the heart attacks and causes the strokes. Is that our arteries are like your kitchen sink. You put enough fatty material into the sink, it clogs up eventually. That's what happens to our arteries. And the disease in our arteries starts as early as 21 years of age. When we began to find this out during the Korean War, when they started to do autopsies on young soldiers who had died, and they found that their coronary arteries were already starting to block up in their 20s, but it's usually hits you bad if you're going to be susceptible at 40 or 50. And you know, we're keeping a lot of people alive these days with stents, but the glutathione is a protector and helps to keep the arteries clean.
Okay, that's wonderful. So at this point, I don't see any other questions. And one thing, folks, that I'd like to share with you is where to find this document that we were sharing with you earlier. Dr. John, before I switch over, just to show folks before we end the call where they can find this document, is there any last words that you'd like to share?
No, just as you know, Chris, I'm always like to help out and get this message out. I really appreciate that we have so many people on the call today that are eager to hear that it's what's happening in the rest of the world. And again, we always say it, we're at the very infancy of this company worldwide and the potential of how it's going to grow around the world as there'll be countries we go into where they'll already know all about glutathione, as there was in the Philippines when they first got to the Philippines because of the fact that it made the skin lighter. But the role of glutathione is becoming much better known because of some of the articles that I just mentioned tonight, that this stuff is going to be known worldwide over the next 10 years.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Dr. John, for spending valuable time with us.
Thank you.
So at this point here, folks, what I'd like to do is just kind of shift your attention quickly here on the website. We have a team support we call activeteam.com, that many of you are aware of. If you click on documents, and under the documents, you will notice different continent. We're talking about Canada, USA, you would select that. And then you would select English. And then what it is you would select under the section of documents. Just so you know, there's cosmetic data here, presentation materials, taxes, testimonies, trade shows. These are training components. So focusing on the documents, then you would go all the way down to studies, okay? So when you click on studies, then at this point, you would find the actual document, which is the one that we just did recently. And let's see here.
One above, yeah.
That says 2013, is that the one? Okay, no, it is not. Just 1 second here. Oh, here it is. One. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's June 1st. Okay, so from there, you can just go ahead and you can download this right into a Dropbox if you want, or you can download it on your computer. It's a pretty straightforward thing to do. You can print it. You know, there's just so many aspects for you to I'm not going to go to this level of details, but you can access it right there. Okay, everything is there and available to you. Again, if I'm just going to go back here, you would see here the studies. And there's a lot of other information here that you might find useful. And you know what's also something to keep in mind as you're sharing, because let's face it, we're dealing in an economy right now where it's challenging, right? Some of us who have focused into building our business, we haven't been affected that much. In fact, I was speaking to Dr. Bright for about an hour this afternoon, just sharing. He was telling me how grateful he was for being introduced to this opportunity, because if it wouldn't be for that, you'd be like his colleagues, where it had had some really challenging for him to get a paycheck, right? So it's really interesting, and you don't need to be you know, an educated doctor to share this information. So I'm very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have Dr. John that is so passionate about preventive medicine. But at the end of the day, we have an opportunity here to help people be aware of a supplement that I think is critical, especially in our time and age today, but you also get compensated for telling people about it. So Tammy, do you have any last word that you want to share as we close the call?
It's so important to elevate your glutathione. So, I mean, that's the big message that we should be sharing with everybody. People are looking for opportunity, and if they get a result with the product, it's easy for people to want to share it with other people. So.
I completely agree. And folks, as we close, Emmanuel, I totally agree with you from Nigeria. He's thanking Dr. John and stating that we're just at the infancy of where we're going. In fact, that's what I was speaking to Dr. Bright this afternoon, is once this thing goes back to our new normal, and if you understand what I mean by new normal, right? And we start going to the office and meetings and things like this again, face to face, we're probably all going to be wearing masks for a while, but the reality is it's going to explode Be prepared for rain, folks. Now is the time. And I'm really, really glad you took the time. Tammy and I, Dr. John, and all of us here on the call, our leaders and associates that are just getting started. Thank you for joining in, and take advantage of these calls, of these training tools to help you stay informed on the benefits and how to share. And this is what was a call that was designed to bring some credibility and some attention on the wonderful product that we have. So again, thank you very much, Dr. John. And thank you, everybody. That was a wonderful call. Thank you. Or wonderful webinar. Okay, bye for now, everybody. In fact, I'm going to unmute everybody so we can just say bye to each other. One moment.